Christmas, YouTube friends and family, and today's video is going to be just a short tour of how I decorated my home for Christmas. So this year in Ohio, we are having unseasonably warm weather. So it's actually Christmas Eve here. I'm getting ready to celebrate with my mother and my sister. So before I leave, I thought I would take you on a quick tour. I also want to thank you all for your kind words, your thoughts, and your prayers for my son. Yay! He had a negative COVID test and he is feeling much better today. Today is Friday and was able to return to work, and I will have him home with me tomorrow. So behind me, if you've probably seen it in some videos, I decided to do something a little bit different this year. So it's a partridge in a pear tree, and I went through 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way around and tried to do a little bit of a drawing with each one of the 12 days of Christmas. So I've really enjoyed it. It's the first time I've ever done that. So stay tuned. I am going to take you on a brief tour. Some will be set to music, some I will voice over, and some I will share some information. So stay tuned. So one of my goals this year was not to purchase a lot of decor, to use what I have on hand. And I just love the Christmas music that you can play on YouTube. It creates a beautiful picture on the wall. Of course, I have it muted. And as I do pretty much every year, I have my collection of vintage bottle brush trees. These are truly vintage. This one right here is not. I must have snuck one in that isn't. So this is something that I purchased. Excuse me, I just stepped on a cat toy. Many years ago at an auction. It was a box lot, and there were many decorations in there, but it was $5. And I also have a mid-century modern hand-carved wooden deer to kind of set off the display. Over here is my skinny little pencil tree. This was a Walmart purchase. If you remember, we did some crafting, created these beautiful glass look beads, but I do have true vintage glass beads that were also part of that box lot. And I do have some presents under the tree. However, Hanky Panky Frankie steals any kind of a normal bow and thinks that all gift bags are something you should get inside. So I only have a few out here. Over here is a rug, and I purchased this several years ago, and I believe I got it at either Home Goods or one of those type stores, so it was not very expensive. Up here, a couple polka dot trees. The boots are actually wax melt or a wax warmer. And my sister and I's Christmas picture from about 1965. Over here, I have a reproduction Christmas tree. It's actually pink. It's hard to see that with the lights on it. This is a Mr. Christmas. And I was able to find this on sale for about half the price that QVC was charging. And here we have a very lovely, sorry about the cat box here, vintage. It's actually an ashtray, but I just thought that the image was quite lovely. It's in mint condition. So I have that displayed along with lots and lots of candles, because I definitely enjoy candles. A little festive throw on the couch. It's always cold in my house, so there's always throws everywhere. A little Merry Christmas pillow, and just a pillow sham on a regular pillow. And swinging around here, I do have an Under the Mistletoe vintage reproduction pillow. In the small area between my canning cabinets, I've hung a North Pole sign. It's actually just leaning. And then I have pulled out a lot of my old-fashioned Christmas records, and this is one of my favorites. It is the Carpenters, and I will share this is a reproduction vinyl record player. Swinging over to the table, I created this lovely set of placemats. It just reminds me of an old-fashioned Christmas. And I do have my 12 Days of Christmas vintage napkins as well. A display here, a lit display of some old-fashioned houses. And then, although Frankie totally hates them and will rearrange them and knock them in the floor, a set of tumbling Santas that is also vintage. One of my absolute favorite displays at Christmas time is part of my collection of vintage Santa mugs. So as you see, I have a variety of brands. These little boots actually were from my childhood. And the ornaments here were part of the lot. I have some fairly rare Holt Howard pieces. And this is actually a planter, but I do also have the candle holders. This is Holt Howard's Ermine Angels. And again, just more and more mugs. Here is one of the Ermine Angels. Some vintage look candles. This little elf is not the elf on a shelf. It is actually from my childhood, so it's a real antique. And then the Santa I shared on one of my thrift hauls that I found this year. Another one back in the corner. And any of these starry-eyed Santas are actually made by Holt Howard. They're generally made in the 50s. Oh, yikes. So this says 1950. I think it says 1950. These were a very hot item this year. Thankfully, I did not need to purchase any. And even one of these little snack dishes was selling on eBay for $175. And I have 3 of those. Of course, a wax melter, a deer that I got last year from Walmart, some Santa mugs that are actually party favors that are new old stock, so they've never been opened. Another one of the starry-eyed Santa candle holders. And I did purchase these candles as reproductions. We had these exact candles when I was a child growing up. The tray back here is another thrift store find. I just added some signs. And then up here is one of the wreaths that I made this year for myself. And over here, another Christmas sign. And then this little piece with the plastic bells was something that my mom decorated with when I was a child, and I happened to come across it, and she was generous and let me take it home. Moving on now to the pantry area and kitchen, I also made this really pretty wreath with the ice skates, and this is actually an evergreen wreath, but it just has a lot of the deco mesh on it. I thought it did turn out quite lovely. Fills up that space nicely. Swinging around here, this is the dish I purchased at Goodwill, filled with candy. And this piece is probably a home decor piece where you actually went to a pottery shop and painted it and had it fired. And I just thought he had such a sweet face. I've had this for many, many years. In the center here is one of my mini Santa punch bowls and matching mugs. This one does have a chip on it. And I purchased this candy cane and pine cone ornaments Several years ago, it was a whole bag for $1 at my local thrift store. And this punch bowl is just absolutely mint. I've never used it for punch, but I try to bring it out each and every year. This is just artificial greenery as well. Swinging on over here, I have some of my Santa mug collection, a non-vintage bottle brush style tree. I had this little vintage popcorn dish, put some Santa boots in. Ooh, if I don't break anything, this will be a miracle. And this is one of my very unique mugs. It does have the jeweled eye, and unlike most of them that are red, this one is green, and it does not have any sort of marking on it. I need to move my tag over here. This was another purchase, and I think I got this from the dollar store, and it's kind of a fun way to count down the days. Some Christmassy looking pie pan, and then this I purchased many years ago at Hobby Lobby, and I just love that it looks very vintage. This is a nightlight, and he does bubble, and I've also had that for many years, received it as a gift. In the window here, I have one of my favorite pitcher and cup sets. This is also from the 1950s. I've added some non-matching mugs in here, but it is in excellent shape, and I enjoyed having it in the window to look at while I did dishes. And some beautiful roses, $9.87 at Walmart. I just thought I needed some Christmas flowers, and why not roses? And again, another vintage looking sign, and I can't tell you where I purchased that. This little ornament here was actually a gift from some of my staff a few years back, and I like bringing it out every year because they know my love of coffee as well. On my stove, I have a set of salt and pepper shakers that are quite vintage. I don't put anything inside them because I'm not even sure, this one doesn't even have a plug in it, if they are lead base or not. This little snowman has a place where you can put a battery operated tea light, and this was also a gift from my staff many years ago. And just some Oreo flavored candy canes in a Christmas mug, as well as some candy cane striped metal straws. And I finally remembered to put out my Christmas handle covers on my refrigerator. In the center here, I have the table runner that matches the placemats that I showed you on the table, and then a 3-tiered tray just with a variety of trees and some garland, cups, etc. And most of the items in here I purchased last year from Target, and I was able to reuse it for this year. Moving on to the dining room, this little rug here was a find at a thrift store. It is a homemade, handmade rug, and I try to keep it out of high traffic areas so that it doesn't deteriorate. When I purchased it, it was really dirty, but it washed up just beautifully. So moving on into the dining room, you've all seen, if you've watched my old-fashioned Christmas series, my bottle brush tree, fully decorated, my Noma light set, some additional shiny brights, my beautiful gift from my friend Jasper is some very vintage, probably 20s, maybe 30s ornament set, the tree topper that won't fit, some more shiny brights, and this tree skirt I actually made from a vintage pattern. I sewed it and appliqued on these little ornaments, and I just thought it fit so well with all of the blue or teal and pink ornaments on my tree. On the table here, I have some of my vintage Pyrex, and this is the snowflake pattern. I have the divided dish, a casserole, and then a blue casserole and another divided dish. And in the back is a set of Cinderella bowls, and I have all 4 of those, and it is in a popular pattern which the name escapes me. In the center here is a centerpiece that my friend Jasper made me, just absolutely lovely, and it is flanked by the Ermine Angel candle holders that are also hold Howard. And inside here are the lucite candles, which you just look at, you don't burn. And you can see there it is hold Howard. These don't have a year on them, but again, I would suspect 50s. These little snowflakes actually go onto the candles. However, these candles are too narrow, so we're just displaying that. So that is a look at the dining room. Heading back into the entryway, this is one of the other wreaths that I made. And this, of course, is from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, Are You Serious, Clark? One year I was able to buy my son and I matching family pajamas that say the same thing, so I had to make a wreath out of that sign. I just thought it was lovely. And I used my coat rack to hang stockings on because I don't wear coats very often. So mine, Frankie's, the C is for Chester, Benjamin's cat, and then this is Ben's from his childhood, and just a festive little hat right there. Swinging around to the laundry room, I tried to put little signs on all my doors, so Farm Fresh Christmas trees. I do have a Santa hanging here in the entryway, a wreath. These little houses on the either end are actually from Target. They are reproduction Putz houses, and this is an actual vintage Putz house. Not in the best of shape, but I just think it's so neat that something made of basically paper or cardboard survived all these years. These can get quite pricey, but I was able to find this at an antique store for very economically. And if you look at the bottom, it was originally 29 cents and made in Japan. Hanging on my quilt cupboard, I did put some sparkly garland. I also added, this is just a quilt that I thought kind of matched that teal and pink theme I'm going for this year. My little Christmas tree, and on this I did put some of the vintage glass bead garland along with some more modern ornaments. On my stairs I put the 2 wreaths that I made and did a video on with the ornaments from my beloved grandma. And then finally, completing what I'm going to show you of the downstairs, is my powder room downstairs. I did purchase this shower curtain on Amazon. I just thought it was so lovely and it matched my colors. I have a little sign on the door. And this is, it looks red, but it's actually pink towel. Of course, the owls that Frankie loves to, believe it or not, come in here and sit, and he communes with the owls. I think he believes they are somehow real. And then this, I believe, came from Hobby Lobby, and it's so lovely. I may leave that up through the winter. And then I put one of the vintage mugs I had. When you see them like this where they have no color, someone has put them in the dishwasher. So that red cold paint is very delicate and will wash off if you stick it in the dishwasher. But I thought it was a lovely way to hold the air freshener. I have a little deer that I thought matched the shower curtain, and of course a hand towel that says joy. our tour, I did want to share with you, I am wearing a vintage reproduction dress, supposed to look like it's from the 50s. One of my thrift store $1 sweaters. And then my brooch, in case you ask, and I can link it. I think you can, it's still available. It comes either with the red hat or the green. That is from Lipstick and Chrome. They make the most amazing enamel reproduction brooches. This is the only one I own. They can be kind of pricey, but I was able to find it at a reduced cost. You know me and my bargain hunting. So I want to wish each and every one of you a very Merry Christmas. I hope you will have a lovely time with friends and family. Count your blessings, make memories. And I want to tell you, I'm so thankful for each and every one of you for the gracious, kind comments that you faithfully put on each one of my videos. It means so much to me. This has been a really fun year being a YouTuber. When I started, I wasn't sure where that journey would take me, if I would continue doing it. It was a year, August 1st. I did not receive my first bit of revenue from YouTube until, I'm a little embarrassed to even admit this, until October of this year. So definitely not a way for me as a small channel to earn a living, but you all bring me a lot of joy and you keep me motivated and thinking of things that I can share, and information that I know that might be helpful to someone else. So I am truly grateful for YouTube and for each and every one of you. I wish you all a very blessed Christmas, and I will see you all next week. Take care.